Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Even when a couple is well matched, differences usually remain. Well, here are 5 common ones and sample wording for how you might address each difference or at least start a conversation about it. Number 1, you wish your partner were warmer. It's easy to feel unloved when you demonstrate more warm gestures to your partner than he or she does to you. For example, you more often show true interest in how your partner's day went. You give little touches. You sometimes anticipate his or her desires. Well, here's a possible conversation starter. I appreciate that you knew that I had had a hard day today, so you gave me some space when I came home. Those little kindnesses, what the marriage expert John Gottman calls bids for connection, indicate the quality of a relationship. Well, I try to make such bids for connection, and I'm really glad when you do. In this little sample, without explicitly requesting a change, that approach could increase your partner's bids for connection more than if you confront it. For example, I'm tired of always showing kindness, respect, and affection for you, and yet you're so cold to me. That, of course, is more likely to yield defensiveness and even hardening of their coldness toward you. The second difference that could be ameliorated is you wish your partner were less materialistic. Especially in the time of COVID, you're nervous about your economic security, and so you wish your partner would cut back the spending. Well, here's possible wording for a conversation starter. I get pleasure seeing you happy with your purchases, but may I be honest with you? She's going to likely agree. I'm getting nervous about our economic security in light of, and then you either say in light of COVID or your fragility of your job, your upcoming college expenses, retirement, whatever. Anyway, and then you continue by saying, I'm wondering how you'd feel about cutting some expenses, you and me both. Do you want to go over some specifics, maybe last month's credit card bill? Or should we leave it open-ended for now? Occasionally that seed planting is enough, but more often it's just a way to start the conversation. Next, you wish your partner were more diligent. For example, you feel like you're doing more than half the domestic chores and want your partner to contribute more. Possible wording, Mary, I gotta tell you, I'm tired. The pressure doesn't relent at work, and then there's all that stuff I do around the house and with the kids. And then you might insert 3 tasks that your partner would acknowledge that you do. And then you say, I'm wondering if you think I need to be more efficient, or might there be more that you're willing to do without it exhausting you? Next example is, you wish your partner were neater. For some people, a messy home is crazy making, while for others it's no problem. Well, if you would like your partner to be neater, here's a possible conversation starter. Of course, you're not going to be a neat freak like me. That self-deprecation reduces defensiveness. But for whatever reason, I'm so much happier. And by the way, when you say I'm so much happier, that makes clear that the issue is important to you without making the person feel unduly defensive. So I'm so much happier when our place is clean. I don't mind doing more than my share because it's my issue. That demonstrates that you're justice-minded, which may evoke that in your partner. And then you conclude by saying, but I'm wondering if there's anything more you would like to do. By the way, I like that wording. If there's any more you'd like to do rather than be willing to do, it feels less coercive. And the final area of incompatibility is you wish your partner were less judgmental. People range from venerating to hating judgmentalness. Well, more people at least claim to value being non-judgmental. So I'm going to assume here that you would like your partner to be less judgmental. Here's a possible conversation starter. As you know, I believe in being non-judgmental, and if I'm to be honest, I too often feel judged by you. Of course, when I do something wrong, I don't expect you always to say no problem. But for example, this morning, when I put on one of my edgier outfits, you yelled, "You gotta be kidding!" I know you like straight-shooting judgments, but we're all different. Is it unreasonable for me to ask you to reserve judgmentalness for more important things? See, posing it as a question softens the blow, and then end with, well, what do you think? The common theme among all of these sample dialogues is an attempt to minimize defensiveness, yet still conveying that request that you want. Well, here were some of those tactics that were embedded in those samples. Own part of the problem. If you put it all on the other person, you start out oppositional. Try to be on the same side of the table. Own your feelings. A self-deprecating acknowledgement that although it is an issue for you, doesn't mean it's going to be everyone's issue, is a good thing to do. You're owning the feeling. For example, saying, I know I'm a neat freak, but it's likely to make the other person more open, because everyone wants to feel at least equal, if not one up. Avoid confronting. Using wording that describes the problem without asking for a solution raises the possibility, at least, that the other person is going to come up with a workable solution, even taking personal ownership in it. And even if he or she doesn't, having planted the seed may be enough. As the relevant situation arises the next time, he or she may be more vigilant and do better. Another one of these tactics that minimizes defensiveness is to make it a question. When you do make an ask, do it as a question leading with, "I'm wondering," and ending with, "What do you think? I'm wondering whether you might do X. What do you think?" Or, "I'm wondering whether it'd be wise to do X or Y. What do you think?" That makes the other person feel it's a dialogue, not an order. And finally, offer two possible solutions, both of which are acceptable to you. That gives power to the other person, and whichever he or she chooses, that person takes a step in your desired direction. Can you, as you're perhaps rewatching this, can you identify any other tactics that were embedded in those samples? In any event, sample dialogues tend to not be broadly applicable enough, but just maybe these samples do offer a starting place for bringing you and your partner closer. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments. And I especially like it if you hit the share button below, share on your social media, so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. And in any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.